Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Biodiversity and Conservation. I'm Subhalakshmi Raut from Ambika Prasad Research Foundation, India, and we are going to continue our UGC NET examination series for environmental science subject, and this is the sixth part of Unit 3 Environmental Biology. Today we are going to study about ecological pyramids. And what is an ecological pyramid? It is a vertical bar graph where number of organisms or their biomass or the energy available at each trophic level is shown with producers present at the base and successive trophic levels like consumers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers towards the apex. And this actually provides us the definite trophic structure, and it is the characteristic feature of a particular type of ecosystem. And um, it is actually the concept of ecological pyramid was first implemented by a British ecologist, Charles Elton. In some books, it can be referred as Eltonian pyramids also. So, there is no need to be confused about that. And the horizontal bars that are arranged in the triangle provides us the hierarchic order from primary producer level to the top carnivore at the apex. And depending upon the type of unit under consideration, like if we consider number or biomass or energy, the ecological pyramids are of three different types, like the pyramid of numbers, the pyramid of biomass, and the pyramid of energy. And we are going to study each one in the next slides. So the first one is pyramid of numbers. Here, as the name suggests, this pyramid is made on the basis of the number or the amount of organisms or individuals like producers, herbivores or carnivores at their successive trophic levels. And the shape of the pyramid varies from ecosystem to ecosystem because in some ecosystem there may be the amount of producers larger than the consumers, but in some ecosystems there may be the amount of producers less than the consumers. So this will give basically three types of pyramid. um, First one is upright pyramid of number. Next is partly upright pyramid of number. And last one is inverted pyramid of number. So the pyramid of number actually we get that from the food chain, like producers provide food to the primary consumers, and primary consumers provide food to the secondary consumers, and secondary consumers provide food to tertiary consumers. So on the basis of food chain we will get all these pyramids. And the first one is upright pyramid of number. Here the pyramid is especially of aquatic and grassland ecosystem. And in these ecosystems there are numerous small autotrophs or the producers which support the lesser number of herbivores, which in turn support a still smaller number of carnivores. That means when we go from base to apex, the number of organisms or number of individuals on the basis of the trophic levels keep on decreasing. For example, this pyramid where the producers are in red color, like grasses, they are in high quantity. So you can see the triangle where gradually the amount decreases, and the top carnivore, that is the hawk, is lesser in population. And this ecological pyramid have a broad base, and which gradually decreases towards the apex, and it's always upright in the grassland and aquatic ecosystem only. We will see this type of pyramid, and it's important to note aquatic and grassland ecosystem only. And next one is partly upright pyramid of number, where this is seen in forest ecosystem only, where the number of producers are lesser in amount, and the successive trophic levels like herbivores, carnivores, and top carnivores are uh, more in number than compared to the producers. Here, for example, trees are less in number, but insects and snakes, lion, tiger, all those in comparison to them are more in number. So this partly upright pyramid is also called rhomboidal or spindle-shaped pyramid. So there may be in some questions they will give the option as spindle shape, and you may be confused on the simple synonym only. Next one is inverted pyramid of number. Here it's the total opposite of upright one, where the producers are uh, very low in comparison to the higher tropic level. And in case of partly upright, we can see there are more amount of herbivores or primary consumers, then there is a decrease where carnivores are less, and then the top carnivores are less than herbivores. But here there is a gradual increase in the amount when we go from base to apex of the pyramid. And here this is typically example of parasitic food chain, where producers like trees are less in number, herbivores are more than the producers, and the parasites that uh, are present on the host like bugs, their ticks, lice, they are on herbivores are more in number than herbivores, and the hyperparasites like fleas, uh, which are present inside or out of the parasites, are then more than the parasite or the third trophic level. So here it's a typical example of parasitic food chain. There are some limitations to the pyramid of numbers. As we know, ecosystem as a whole is a big unit, and the food chain or food web and the pyramids only show a very little picture of the whole ecosystem, and it actually fails to distinguish the size variations of producers. Like there are trees, there are grass, there are algae, and so there should be a proper classification, but it's absent in the case of pyramid of numbers, and they are all given the same status. And the numbers of different trophic levels also vary, as it shows uh, there is very difficulty to show the whole community on the same numerical scale. So these are the limitations of pyramid of numbers. Now we will study about the pyramid of biomass. So first, biomass. Biomass actually is the um, quantification or amount of living matter present at a trophic level or of organism or a component at a particular point of time. So when we measure the biomass, we actually measure their living weight or their dry weight or their carbon weight. So and it simply represents the living tissue or the amount of living tissue or energy available as food for an organism of the next trophic level. And the ecological pyramid, which is constructed using the biomass at the each trophic levels in a food chain, is called pyramid of biomass, and they are of two types: upright pyramid of biomass and inverted pyramid of biomass. And the upright one actually is prime have the prime example of terrestrial or um, shallow water ecosystem where the producers are large and relatively long lived. Here actually um, there are larger biomass of producers in comparison to the smaller weight of the consumers. Here in the diagram or in the picture, we can see that the measurement of dry weight of producers is so much more than the primary consumers, secondary consumers, or tertiary consumers. And the upright pyramid of biomass also indicates that there is decrease of biomass in each trophic level from base to apex. Here, actually, the pioneer or newly established communities generally have fewer consumers in comparison to the producers. So, in that case, also the pyramid of biomass will be upright. And in the forest ecosystem, the total biomass of the producers, that is green plants, is more in comparison to the herbivores that ingest them. And likewise, the biomass of carnivores is less than the herbivores. So there is a progressive loss of energy at each trophic level of a food chain, which puts a natural limit on the total weight of the living matter that exists at each level. And then the next one is inverted pyramid of biomass. It's generally seen in aquatic ecosystem. Uh, this happens when the smaller weight of producer supports the consumers of larger weight. In aquatic ecosystem, actually, we will see that the size of producers is very small and that of the consumers is large, resulting in the inverted pyramid of biomass. Here, the size of organisms differs greatly at different trophic level, and if organisms of lower levels are much smaller than the higher levels, then this type of pyramid is seen. In aquatic ecosystem, phytoplanktons are the producers, which have very less biomass or very less weight. So, uh, due to that, we will see in this picture that the phytoplanktons have very small amount or the weight. So, we have the smaller trophic level at the base. And then the weight of the zooplanktons or mollusks in the second trophic level is more than the phytoplanktons. And then the small fishes and they occupy the third trophic level, which have more weight than zooplanktons and phytoplanktons. And likewise, when we go up of the pyramid, we will see that large fishes have most weight than others. So Uh, Here, the rate of production in producers is higher as compared to the consumers in the ecosystem. Um, and even though more energy is being passed through the producers, the to the consumers, the levels of energy transfer um, will remain constant only because the consumers have rapid metabolism and the producers which are small, very less in amount will uh, keep their metabolic energy conserved. So this shape of the pyramid on the basis of weight is inverted, but if we go through energy then it will become upright, which we'll discuss in the next slides. And there are also some limitations to the pyramid of biomass, like it produces information on the quantity of organic material present at any given time, but not on their productivity, how much they produce energy or food. That is not shown in the pyramid of biomass that I was telling in the previous one, that though phytoplanktons produce large amount of energy and keep conserved with them, it is not shown in the pyramid. Just that they have very low weight, so they are placed in the base is narrow because of that. And it also cannot serve as a viable measure for comparison of various ecosystems because biomass, like small animals and plants, they have less biomass, but they can produce very much energy, and their metabolic rate is also very high. So this cannot be a base for comparison between various ecosystems. Now, the pyramid of energy. The pyramid of energy actually solves all the issues and objections raised in connection with pyramid of numbers and biomass. Here you can see that the each horizontal slice of the pyramid represents the total amount of energy utilized by them in a particular period of time or a particular area. And and the most important point is that it is always upright. It's because the energy will that energy first actually comes from the sunlight, and it's very high in amount, which are whose 1% only is taken up by the producers. Then there is 10% loss of heat energy, and the rest is consumed by the primary consumers. Then 10% decrease in energy as heat, and the rest are consumed by secondary consumers, which goes on to the apex predator or the fourth trophic level. There is a decrease of energy when we go from base to apex, but the energy uh, never actually um, gets is degraded. Actually, every energy has the way of conversion. Either solar energy is converted into chemical energy or heat energy. So there is no loss of the absorbed energy. And This is the best example is shown in grassland ecosystem, um, where there is absorption of energy from sunlight, but some amount of energy is reflected back to the space. And so due to this process, the usable energy decreases from sunlight to producers to herbivore to carnivores. Therefore, the pyramid of energy will always be upright. What are the advantages of energy pyramids? As we saw earlier, there are some limitations to the previous two pyramids, but here there are no limitations. Only advantages are recorded for these energy pyramids. It actually because it takes into account the productivity, how much energy is produced or how much food is produced. Um, which is not in case of pyramid of numbers or biomass. And these pyramids not only allow a comparison of relative importance of species population, but also helps in comparison between different ecosystems. Due to energy pyramids, we can compare a forest ecosystem with aquatic ecosystem. We can see how much is their productivity, how much energy is produced. Uh, so this gives the basis of comparison, and it also allows provision for including solar energy as a extra slice at the base. And there are some limitations of ecological pyramids on the whole. Um, and there are some number of species who are into different modes of nutrition. So they may occupy two or more trophic levels. But ecological pyramids actually do not show them properly. And detritus, litter, leaf litter, or waste materials from different consumers are also a source of energy, but the pyramids do not include this aspect, and the saprophytes are very vital for the maintenance of an ecosystem, but they are neglected. And this ecological pyramid also fails to indicate the seasonal or diurnal variations in the activities of various organisms. And this is from me today, and thank you.